Hello, good morning, everyone. And for those who are watching us live from other time zones, good afternoon or good evening. My name is Marilyn. I'm the founder and CEO of Customized Training Solutions Private Limited or CTS, and we are Asia's most trusted training and business solutions partner. We have been creating programs that adds value and impact for leaders to stay relevant, adapt to the next normal, and ensure performance of a hybrid team. And our mission is to be able to inspire sustainable transformation by empowering leaders through customized learning solutions that drives outcomes and impact. We have served over 5,000 leaders from over 30 countries in different industries, including Petronas, Sony Mobile, Ayala Group, Meralco, Aboitiz, Manila Hotel, Shell, to name a few. And today, it's my great pleasure to introduce our leader, Eugene Acevedo is the president and CEO of Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation or RCBC. And under his leadership, RCBC accelerated its business and digital transformation, winning multiple awards in innovation, including Best Digital Bank and Best Retail Bank. RCBC also took major strides in sustainable finance, resulting in landmark green bond issues and its single A ESG rating by MSCI. Eugene serves as the chairman of the Asian Bankers Association or ABA for 2021 to the 2023 term, and in 1987 he graduated from the Asian Institute of Management. He completed the Advanced Management program at the Harvard Business School and an avid learner. He has professional certificate in clean power, customer experience, user experience, and digital marketing from Imperial College, CX Academy, British Computer Society, and Wharton School, respectively. And without so much further ado, I'd like to invite Eugene. Hi, Eugene. Good
Good
morning.
morning, good morning, Maryland. Great to see you.
It's my pleasure to have you in our show. And just for the audience, uh, knowledge, we have actually get to meet each other at PMAP conference, and I
Yes, we
saw you
did.
on stage, and very impressed with how you delivered your program. It's very light. I see that it's very relatable to a lot of people, including me. And one of the favorite part, I mean, I'm not an HR by profession and training, although of course one of the special message that you have given us is that really about taking care of your people transformation, and the importance of it in bringing like the organization to the next level, right? But my most important thing, which made me really think, is actually like when you said like you can actually choose the customer that you want to work with based on the values that actually you actually have, right? It's not about like I want to have all and every client, and that actually is like wow, yes. That's a great reminder for me, right? It's really about choosing the people that you actually work with in business. So I really love that. So again, thank you for taking time to have this call. I gave you an introduction, very short and sweet. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm sure there's more that you'd like to add.
Okay.
So please share with us who you are, what you do, experience around leadership and transformation, or anything that would be interesting for our audience to know.
Okay. I'll start by saying that in the bank, I'm known as a cat person. I have 9 cats. I sleep with
Wow.
some of them. The second thing they know about me is that I come from the southern part of the Philippines. I was born in
Mhm.
Cebu, raised in Mindanao. So I'm provincial in orientation. The third thing that people always mention when they talk about me is that I used to be a physics major. That
Mhm.
was what I studied in college, and I even taught physics um, in UP. But
Mhm.
for a year, when I realized that what I really wanted to be was a professional leader or a manager. I grew up in a compound, a huge compound of Peacock, which back then was the biggest integrated pulp and paper mill in Southeast Asia. My father worked there. So I grew up seeing leaders, young engineers, young accountants moving up the corporate ladder. In those 15 years, I watched them. I got inspired by their successes from humble backgrounds to very senior positions, and early on, I thought that I would also want to be like them. They were my idols and heroes when I
Mm-hmm.
was a young person. That is why I think physics, it turns out, wasn't really for me. However, as a physicist, I learned to code. I became more quantitative, which helped me because in Citibank, my specialty was derivatives, which is highly quantitative. Later on, as banking became much more transformative, digital, my coding experience came in very handy uh, because I could relate to the nerds and the geeks who I had to hire. In fact, I ended up hiring many physicists as a result of our business transformation. So
Mm-hmm.
it's maybe the last thing I'll say is to me, leadership. Whenever I'm asked, leadership is about serving people. Leadership is about. I know you have questions later, but maybe I can say a few things at the start.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you care about people, you care about them personally. Second, you care about making sure that they're set up for success, meaning you make sure you know their weak points, their strong points, they get trained so that they become more successful. The third thing a leader needs to do is to help young people plot their careers so that they know or have some very good idea of where they're going. If you don't do those three things, then you're not really caring for the person. I mean, I kind of sort of developed that. It's how I view leadership as a leader on a personal basis. But my preferred definition of leadership is a leader that is a who is also a playing coach, who makes sure that the team does very well. Every single member of the team is able to deliver to the best of her or his ability to help the entire team. It's about teamwork. Um, that exactly is what we have in RCBC. When people ask me, "What's your competitive advantage?" My answer is, we play as a very solid team. Then maybe now I can pass it on back to you.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I mean, what I really love about what you've said at the start is actually really making it so personal by introducing yourself being a cat lover. Growing up and born from the south, as well as sharing your story about like what's your take, I mean, like what's your experience like with leadership, what leadership is when growing up with the paper mill that you've mentioned, April, right? um, in the Southeast Asia, and being inspired with how people actually step up from the corporate ladder, it's very a humbling experience for you, and so thank you for sharing that with us. And I summarize a bit of what you've actually said as an overview of probably what we're gonna discuss today with several
Yes,
questions
you
I
got
have.
it right. Yes,
Yeah, and that's about leadership, right? Getting personal first, knowing that you wanted to serve them, you care for them, and you make sure that they're set up for success. I really love that part, and we're just getting started.
yes.
So so much
Maybe
for
maybe
that
one
introduction.
line to add is,
Mhm.
I think the best leaders are the leaders who are able to build superstars. Uh, any person who works under me who produces a lot of superstars, they get a lot of points. They're the ones I move up much
Mm-hmm.
faster because my business is about people. My
True.
business is about high performing people.
Wow, I love that. Thank you so much for adding that up. So I'm just curious to know. I probably have an idea, one of it, based on what you've shared in your story. But who are your influencers? What's probably your favorite leadership style that leads you to how you define leadership for you?
Uh, I usually never talk about my father because I don't want to make him feel very good. But I think it started with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have as much confidence as a kid. It was my dad who built up my confidence and basically fed me things to read, uh, gave me those junk food snacks whenever I got 100 in kinder. He programmed me into a reading and performing young person. Um, but as I entered the workforce, I met three individuals that changed my view of leadership or even my view as a person differently. The first was uh, my Mexican boss in Singapore. His name was Rodrigo Zurilla.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Rodrigo was a quiet guy, pensive, very friendly, and he kept repeating these lines to me. He would say, "Eugene, build goodwill. If it doesn't work, build goodwill again. You will realize that you will get very far by doing that." At a point when we were building our derivatives business in Citibank, we needed the cooperation of many groups. So what we did was exactly that: build goodwill. How can we help? You have to keep planting, planting, planting. You cannot expect to harvest
Mm-hmm.
uh, goodwill, synergy, business expansion if you do not invest in people, if you do not invest in relationships. The second person who really told me something that I'll never forget is Kathy Weir, my former country head in Citibank. Kathy said, when we had a difficult situation then and she had to deliver a bad message to someone, she said, Eugene, be firm but be polite. I later read about similar sayings that where they wrote, disagree but don't be disagreeable, because people remember how you said things. They'll forget what you said, but they will remember if you treated them unkindly. It takes bad experiences, take great experiences are also remembered. So investing in personal interactions um, is to me is extremely important because I am in the people business, and my ability to deliver depends on my ability to deliver by myself,
Mm-hmm.
my ability to work really hard, but it multiplies if I'm able to influence people around me,
True.
and it's like an exponential if I'm able to lead teams. um, I also keep repeating these lessons because I mentor a lot of young people and even the ones who are older but working for me. I keep reminding them about these little things. And then finally, this gentleman who was my kuya in Citibank, his name is Marcelo Fernando. His nickname is Arcos. Um, Arcos is a Renaissance man. He dances, he knows great food, etc. But he shines whenever there's a crisis. I remember uh, several of those instances, and in the Philippines we have crisis after crisis after crisis.
True.
He keeps telling me and the rest, during a crisis or when you have a problem, the most important thing is clarity of thought. So
Mm-hmm.
you think you get as much information. Don't panic. Get as much information as you can. If there's information that you don't have, you look for it. Just get it. Clarity of thought. And when you have enough information, it's dogged execution. It's drill, drill, drill. It's diligence has to be at work. So uh, these are all the lessons that I learned from them. I also learned from my professors in Harvard. Professor Cynthia Montgomery has helped me figure out what to do in the businesses that I led. I graduated 2014, so it's almost 10 years. What I remember was when working out, when writing the strategy of your group or your company, you start with your purpose. You start with your main value. And then you work around that purpose or value. I think there's a writer who said the same thing. You start with your why.
Mm-hmm.
You start with your why, and then you work around it so that everything you do is consistent with the purpose or value that you decided on at the start. So it's all of these things together that has taught me. And maybe finally, I had another professor in Harvard who nagkataon lang, it just so happened I learned it there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what he said was, when you listen to understand. Do not listen waiting for a mistake, figuring out what's wrong, being ready to debate. The worst
Mm-hmm.
thing you can do is uh, being ready for a retort. This is not a debate. A discussion is a discussion to learn about somebody else's points. And when you're genuinely interested in what the other person is saying, it will show in your face. It will show in your face. Marilyn, I wish I learned that lesson when I was a student in AIM. Because in AIM, whenever somebody was speaking, you're ready to pounce because they were doing the same thing to me. Uh, but now, when I meet with my lieutenants, when I meet with my seniors, I listen. Of course, I will also disagree if I need to disagree. But when I disagree, I'm smiling because I understand what they're saying. um, I make I don't make real effort anymore. It just comes naturally. That I really listen to understand. I pause. I don't react right away because sometimes I learn things that I never even thought about. I have over 20 direct reports, and each one is an expert in their field. They deserve uh, being listened to.
Mm-hmm.
They know, many of them know their fields better than I could ever uh, try to. I'm a, I know many of the jobs around or under me, but I don't know everything. Even if I knew things, there might be something I missed. I really value learning from my colleagues. Sorry, it was long, but yeah, when you're turning 16 in less than 4 months, you have many
Wow.
things to say.
That's a milestone, major milestone. I
It
mean,
is.
I'm really glad you're actually sharing this. And this is what I really love about these interviews that I have been doing, right? Um, a lot of times, like, especially in organizations or when I have conversations in the corporate world, they think of like, I mean, I started with very technical niche program in the oil and gas industry, and
Mm,
when up until now, whenever I have conversation, quite a lot of times that people actually or organization are actually like focusing a lot, not only their budget but their effort a lot on the technical side. And this is why I really love this conversation, because none of our conversation so far has made any of that, um, any conversations around technical or and that reminds me of like a series of programs that I have actually um, produced in the past. And it's really an aha moment for me because it's like these are officers from different countries, and these are between managing director, country heads, um, and department heads. And like what the reason why I said it's an aha moment, and you have reminded me of that again, is that like we have like categorization on like how do you remember your leaders because of their technical skills, because of their the
Ah,
coaching and all those stuff, or like how they made you feel. And it's it's always around how they actually, how the leader made them feel. And you've actually stressed that out again. It's how you
exactly.
made the people feel, right? But I mean, like sometimes, especially when we're younger, we tend to be like looking at the numbers, looking at the profit, we're looking at, like the results that we need to bring into the table, right? And sometimes we forget about the relationship that we have with the people around us. And I really appreciate that you reminded me so many times in your stories and your sharing, even the influencers that you have. You've mentioned that your dad, and that also reminds us that, as a parent, we need to be a role model for our children. That's how you started. You got influenced by your dad, who actually programs you, as you've mentioned, to do reading and to performing well, and as you go along with your journey. And the people around you, the leaders around you, are the ones who actually give you these amazing lessons in life, to lead as you do now, right? To build goodwill. And a lot of this, being polite, being able to listen, shining during crisis, um, these all actually are very soft skills, right? It's really starting with your why, starting with your value, being able to listen to others. And that's all about building relationships. And as a leader, that's what you're supposed to do.
You know, I did not realize that was what I was saying, because it's. I also, in fact, whenever people ask me, uh, they say boss. When they call me boss, what they mean is parang what they mean is it's my nickname. It's
Uh-huh.
they say it with a smile, and in a very personal way, and they say, boss, if I want to be a CEO, what do I need to do? And since these are young people, Marilyn, I focus more on the hard skills. So I would say you need to be a triple threat. A triple threat in show business is somebody who can sing, dance, and act.
Mhm.
What's a triple threat in basketball? Somebody who can shoot, who can defend, who can rebound. In
Mhm.
banking, we can have several uh, combinations of triple threats: somebody who can trade, somebody who knows operations, and somebody who can sell. Uh, I'm describing myself when I was younger. The idea is you cannot be a leader unless uh, you have mastered at least three skills.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, you still have to perform. But you know what?
Exactly.
I realized something today. I realized that by going across the bank, across the different groups of the company, I actually built relationships and I met several people who helped me become who I am, as opposed to just going up the line in a single. Like, for example, in treasury, I spent 20 over 20 years in treasury. If all I did was treasury up the line, then I would be a certain person, not bad, but will I be CEO material? I did not. I need to understand other parts of the business. I need to be able to talk to customers and all those things. I learned the soft skills and lead people. The soft skills I learned by moving around the bank. Hence, I'm insisting that my young people also move around the bank and take the opportunity to learn. It's, what are they looking for? They're paid, they're being given good jobs, they're mentored, and they're learning new skills. Their market values rise significantly. In fact, I'd say, now I need to keep you. Now I need to pay you more to keep you because I trained you. As opposed to saying, you owe me. I trained you. You have to stay. No, I wasn't trained in that environment. I was trained in an environment in Citibank where we train people. They have to see the value in staying with me, in staying with the company. Um, if they don't see the value, the door is open, they're free, we're still friends. But the mathematics is in my favor. There's significantly more that are staying rather than those leaving. And the ones who are leaving often come back. So I once, somebody asked me, when you're retired and you're staying in your vacation house somewhere and watching the afternoon sun, what will you think about when drinking some maybe whiskey? I said, I'm not going to think about the deals I made. I'm not going to think about how much money or how much profits we generated. I'll think about those individuals whose careers uh, rose and who did very well. Um, and I'll be happy and I'll smile thinking that I was part of their early years. Right now, uh, because I've mentored quite a number of people. Uh, Many of those I hired and who used to work for me are managing directors in investment banks around
Wow.
uh, around the region, and one of them, Adam Gilmore, he founded Gilmore Space Corporation.
Ooh,
Adam Gilmore is an ex-Australian national team, a gymnastics national team member. He is now launching rockets into space from Australia. And his next project is to send a rocket that will orbit the Earth. Now, I'm telling myself, wait a minute, I'm the physicist. Adam is the business major. He's the one doing the things I should be doing, but I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. I love the guy. He is following his dream. He quit and he decided to follow his dream. I see that in the people I worked with, and to me, that's the greatest dividend. It's the dividend that allows me to live longer. It's the dividend that makes me smile. It's a dividend that makes me relaxed. Makes me relax. I only have two sons. Both are doing well, and whenever I think about them, I also smile. But I have an extended family of people I've taken care of over these 3 decades, and you know that gives me much more pleasure altogether. Family and friends. It's
definitely.
it's really just maybe who I am, but the result of all those working together and building careers, discovering superstars and building them up, the result is financial. The result is financial. I'm in the business of people and relationships, and if I build careers of younger people, uh, also the older ones, they can still learn new tricks. If they become better, they produce better, they work together, money follows,
True.
performance follows. We have been the fastest growing bank in the Philippines uh, over the last 4 years. From number 8, we're now number 5. We're trying to target number 4. We've been winning awards. We've been the fastest in loans, deposits, and profitability in terms of growth. This is not me. This is the team delivering it. It's not just the immediate leadership team, even the ones under them. When everybody gets together, things happen. Good things happen when everybody gets together.
Wow,
And it's also,
congratulations.
the other thing, Marilyn, is um, I'm part of a relay of leaders. Uh, I owe my two predecessors,
Mhm.
Lorenzo Tan and Gil Bonaventura. I'm able to see farther because they're the ones propping me up with lessons from the past
Mhm.
and continued encouragement. I intend to do the same to my successor. I'm building a team that will continue to lead the bank in the future. I love what I do, but I also know that a huge part of my responsibility is continuity.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. It's really wonderful when you see leaders or when you hear leaders who are really so focused about relationship, about their people, about taking care of them. And before I ask you the next question, I just want to acknowledge all our live viewers. Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. And do join us more by asking your questions, giving us your takeaways, or aha moments from this interview. And I'd like to acknowledge some of the people who gave us some love. Mylene, Queenie, Raimi, Maria Janet, Miles, Mikey, Myra, Theo, and we also had some likes from Jet and Alexis. Thank you so much for that. I think the likes and the hearts are coming from Facebook. I'm seeing quite a number of
I
live
think those are
audience.
my friends.
Yeah, at least I mean that means that you are being supported by your friends, right? Oh, okay. Let me see this comment from Suburbatal Tahib. Okay, wait. May
Suburban Talahib.
yeah. May we have more leaders like you. Oh, okay. Being in the business of people. So she's actually sharing from YouTube, giving her takeaway, building a relay of leaders. Yes. Thank you for um,
Thank you.
putting
Thank you.
in the notes your takeaways from this conversation. Some of the loves has been covered already, but again, thank you so much for um, watching us, from joining us in this conversation. Wow, we love Sir ESA. So that's for you. So your team has been really like supporting you as well. So thank you so much.
I intentionally did not send this to or show this to my internal people. I think they some of them found out.
Yes, probably they do. I have been like sending this invitation to different groups, to different
Mm.
communities, to all social media. So they probably found out about this. And I mean like you're their
You know,
president and
Marilyn, I was concerned that they will stop working. I need them to work now, and then they can just do this later or something like that.
yeah, for sure. Not a lot of people do watch live, but I mean,
Mm.
you're very special that we have quite a number of audience today joining us as well live. But for some, like who might be working, they might be looking at this on a replay. So yeah,
Correct.
and I really appreciate. I mean, we're just getting started. It's really so much of hearing from which perspective you are, but you gave us too much already, too much, more than enough for us to go in terms of you've already answered questions around how can we retain our team and how can we increase profitability, and it's all about building relationships. And
Oh,
but that
maybe there's one thing, no? Kasi no, no, right now people are saying digital
yes.
transformation, and
Mhm.
uh, we've been doing this for almost 5 years now.
Yes.
And people make the mistake of thinking that digital transformation is about buying things,
Mm-hmm.
buying technology, partnering with a fintech, uh, getting people through courses,
Mm-hmm.
making them learn things. Yeah, those are important. But digital transformation is about persuading people. Digital transformation is about people transformation. If people do not buy what you're selling, they'll give you token um, recognition, or they'll say, yes, we do things. But when you're gone, when you're not watching, they don't do anything. Now, the way we somebody asked me about this, I said, transformation is really four things. First is make sure your business is the right business. This is a hard skill. This is where you
Mhm.
do planning, figuring out, are you going after the right markets, the high growth markets? Are you going after them with the right products? Are you staffed with the right people? So is the formula correct? And when you have the right formula, you have to ask the question, are you engineered correctly? Are you bureaucratic? Do you have too many steps? Do you ask for so many documentation? So that thing is second. No, the third thing is data science, AI, and digital. Put in all the tools to turbo up your transformation. But it will never work unless your people work together. Now, we've realized that two things have to happen, or maybe three. Three things have to happen. The first thing that has to happen is people have to understand that at the core of any transformation is the customer. You have to serve the customer's needs. You have to uniquely serve the customer's need. If you don't have a unique product that solves a customer need, people call it use case now. They say, what's your use case? Basically, what that means is, what are you doing that fulfills a need uniquely, and that is why people will buy. Okay, what's your use case? Your use case you will not be able to arrive at if you don't spend time with customers, if you don't humble yourself. Many companies decide that innovation is them sitting in their chairs or around the table over pizza or whatever it is that they like to eat, and talk about what they think the customer's needs are. Better way to do it is to examine the journey of the customer from the time they leave the house. What do they think about? Immersing yourself in the customer experience, talking to the customer, watching how they do things, understand as much as you can. And then you come up with certain ideas. As soon as you come up with certain ideas or solutions to customer problems, you have to show it to the customer again. And oftentimes it's not exactly what they're looking for. So it iterates. You do it many, many, many times. And only then will you figure out something that works. Now, in our case, the products that we offer, we we tested with customers again and again and again. Uh, we think that you cannot digitally transform if you're not really serving a specific customer need. You will fail immediately. Our new product is called Payday Now. Payday Now is mobile app based. Whenever our payroll customers want to borrow money, uh, within less than 2 minutes, they can do it using through three steps. And we're the only bank that does that. Now, we arrived at this because we looked at the process. We said, um, your payroll is on the 15th day, you run out of money. What do? You go to your neighborhood loan shark, then you get charged, if you're lucky, just 10%. And then you have to surrender your ATM card. And then if you surrender your ATM card, what do you use to enter the office? It gets so complicated. So we said, why don't we test this? Various steps. And then we it took us a long time to test this. We tested this with our own people, with our sister companies to see, does it work, does etc. Only then did we launch it. And now it's a very popular product. It's a very popular product because I see a lot of complaints. When people are complaining, that means it's working. And then whenever they complain, we learn, we keep improving. It will never be perfect. You have to accept the fact that you cannot be a perfectionist in this market. You have to get very far, and then you keep improving, improving, improving. It's what they say. If you want to get from point A to point B, don't build a car immediately. Try a scooter first, then you make it into a bike, and then it becomes a motorbike, and then it becomes a car, and then it keeps improving. But just keep improving, and keep checking with the customer. That to us is, obsessing about the customer is the more important thing. But corollary to that, supporting that, is the fact that several groups in the bank have to work together. People have to collaborate to meet
True.
that need. Somebody from data science, somebody from technology, somebody from sales, somebody from accounting, compliance. Many people have to work together to deliver that. That is what builds teamwork. At any point in time, we have 3 dozen projects running, and in those 3 dozen
Wow.
projects, various people work together. The best part about this is they make new friends. These new friendships tend to be lasting if they work together on a project, they bond. The collaboration is not just at the leadership level. Collaboration is now even at the junior level in this bank, and is the that is what oils the digital transformation process. When people collaborate, many things can happen. And finally, it's winning awards. When we started winning awards as a bank, it turned the indifferent ones into believers. Then suddenly people were cheering everybody on. It's similar to what happened to the University of the Philippines when their basketball team, after so many years of losses, won one game. That single winning game turned many alumni into believers. And then they kept winning and winning and winning. It's these short-term wins, they inspire other people in the bank to believe that it is possible. And when they start using the products, they become advocates, evangelists of the products, and then you see them talking about the bank's products in social media. They're proud to show that they come from RCBC and we have great products. They're not perfect, because at any point in time there will still be new improvements or there will be complaints, but we have the modesty to understand and the humility to understand that anything we do will still need improvement over time. And at any point, competition can come in and show something better. We have to be ready for that. And I think one of the best parts about being in competition with worthy banks is that it inspires us. Maybe inspire may not be the right word, but whatever it is, we do better because we know that there's somebody just behind us or somebody ahead of us that we need to chase. So it's like yeah, it's kind of like a game. You cannot take yourself too seriously. Sometimes you lose, but you don't get to the top or near the top without paying your dues early on. Uh,
Exactly.
you just have to keep working on it.
Exactly. There's no such thing as I'm done.
No, no.
It's always a process. It's always a journey. And if you really want to take care of your customers as well as your employees, you really have to keep on working. There's no such things as shortcut and I'm done,
No,
right?
no, no, no. I'm
Thank you.
still I'm still studying. I've recently uh, uh, ChatGPT is the most exciting thing out there now. No? So I decided to look for a good program on AI that 160 of my senior officers can learn from. And everybody's going through that. We have a certification program on AI. I have quite a number already okay with AI, but I wanted more to learn because AI can raise productivity by 50%.
Exactly.
That I read a study that said that, especially generative AI. So I found another program of Gen AI. It wasn't very expensive, and all the 160, whether they like it or not, I think they actually enjoy it. are going to be certified. The bank's paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
They're being certified in those two AI courses. I like it that people continue learning. It's easy naman because it's video based, uh, and with quizzes, of course,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That part's non-negotiable. But um, it's great that we have become a learning organization. Anything new, I want my seniors to get to know about. Some more expertly than the others, but I don't. I hate it when anybody uh, gets left behind. At
True.
least they know. No, at least they know what's going on. They may not be at the forefront, but um, every single senior in this bank needs to move up in terms of learning about these things, because it's our main strategy, and they are part of it. They are part of it.
Wow, thank you for sharing that with us. And I really appreciate that you've made mention again and reminded that you're a learning organization. Leaders actually expand their horizon and grow bigger, knows bigger, widens their wisdom, and includes their team whenever they actually learn as well, right? That's part of being a very good leader, a great leader, always learns. And Ariel actually made mention, thanks to you, Sir Eugene, for being a good mentor and building up your people. The success is also yours. Their success is also your success.
Thank you, Ariel.
Um, he said that the success of digital transformation starts with changing the mindset of the people, and that makes it a success, right? But getting their buy-in actually, and digital transformation is about people transformation. The core of transformation is the outcome. We keep forgetting this, and what we need is and what we are in business for, exactly, right? It's really about getting the buy-in of the people who are actually involved in the transformation. Great insights and great influence, Mr. Eugene, and thank you for sharing the perspective with us. So thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. And again, like you've mentioned quite a number of lessons, especially around digital transformation, AI, and even like retaining talent and how you can actually improve your businesses. But from your experience as a corporate leader, for the last so many years, and now still working with corporate leaders as the president CEO of RCBC, what would you say would be the top three problems that leaders would normally face?
The first problem, or first challenge rather, is the transformation of the business.
Mhm.
The environment is changing, competitors change, uh, customers' requirements change. There was a
Mhm.
time when a bank was just compared to the next bank. Now, the customer experience in a bank is compared to the customer experience in Netflix,
Mhm.
in Amazon. When people experience global standards in service, or uh, in interface, uh, or anything at all, that global standard, whether consciously or unconsciously, becomes the new standard against which every single bank or company providing service to that customer is compared against.
Mhm.
So we have to keep transforming our business, realizing that we are not competing with other banks around us. We're competing basically with a totally whole new set of players. And at the core has to be the customer. We cannot lose sight of the fact that if
Mhm.
we're serving the customer the best we can, then we're winning. Then we're winning. Um, and we can only do that if people collaborate around the organization. That's the first one, the transformation. The
Mhm.
second is performance management. When you get your transformation right, you need to make sure that your people perform. And I've reduced it to a formula where we say the targets have to be very clear, the training has to be defined so that competence level goes up. The tools have to be superior than the tools provided by competition. And while we're going through the process, we need to be able to track on a real time basis or as frequently as possible. And we put in the incentives. We provide incentives so that people are motivated to perform. I call those the treats. My performance management is based on what I've written down as my 5T, the 5T's of performance management. That's a target that inspires, training, tools, tracking, and treats uh, that inspire people to deliver more. Um, I guess the third, to me, those are the two main challenges, and maybe the third challenge is the fact that we are getting thrown, or we face things that we've never really anticipated before, uh, like the pandemic.
Mhm.
What was the last one? Last time we had this over 100 years ago. Um, Certain things are happening that were totally unanticipated. They were there in history, but these were things we did not know were going to happen. So how do we face those challenges? I think the first two would allow us to do that. If we're very adept at transforming our business, then we're agile enough to adjust whatever the environment is. And if we are a top performing organization, then our response to whatever those new stimuli or those new crises or external developments, our response would be much faster and much more competent. I think it's really those things. No, it's it's hard to be a CEO nowadays. There's just
Mhm.
so many. If you asked me, if you look at the cases we wrote or cases we read when I was taking my master's in AIM, very different, very different from what we're seeing now. Uh, but we just have to accept that this is the world we're living in now. We just have to take advantage because anyway, with the challenges come opportunities.
Exactly.
Opportunities to do better, opportunities to make decent profit, opportunities to make a change. One of the things we did recently, by the way, I'm not sure whether I mentioned this to you before, was in December 2020, 3 years ago, we were the first bank to declare that we were no longer going to support coal projects.
Ah, yes.
And as soon as I opened my mouth, I got text messages from my friends in the power sector,
Mhm.
basically politely, since we're friends, politely questioning the logic of my decision. Um, I took it, listened to them, but stayed true to what we wanted to do, and that was to divert our funding to renewable energy. Within a year and a half, 2 years, the same set of people who criticized me were reading from the same script I was reading at that point. They were also moving towards renewable energy. I know it's not the perfect thing in this country. There's so many things to work on. But, if we set our minds, and it was the whole team, it wasn't me who made that decision, it was the whole team that made that decision. we believe that that is the thing to do, then we just work on it. What's the opportunity? The opportunity is there are uh, there's a long list of renewable energy projects in the Philippines that need to be financed. That's a nice dividend to the thinking that we're going to do renewable energy. But really, at the core is we believe that it was time for us to lead the change.
Wow, I really love that. This is the part I think that I actually got that message or important aha moment during your talk in PMAP, where I said like, ah, yes, like being able to choose your customers based on your values and what
Mm,
you believe in, right? And this is the story of really like not uh, or stopping to support coal powered. And again, like what you've said, I really love when you said that every crisis actually has an opportunity that comes along with it, right? And I like with what's happening nowadays, like transformation, not only in people but also in business. The market evolves, everything is fast changing, and so we really need to keep up by really like um, being on our feet, I would say. Because as you've mentioned, we face things that we never really anticipated before, right? And that's really big, right? And that's the reason why we have to continuously learn as well. And that also leads me to my next question, actually, that having said that, right, all those challenges that most leaders do face, what are the important leadership capabilities and skills that you must have in this next normal, or whatever you want to call it, in the
mm,
future, I guess, to continue to lead more effectively? And if there are like experiences, case studies that or stories that you'd like to share
mm.
that relates to these important leadership skills and capabilities, please do share with us.
Yeah, the first thing is something I mentioned already. It's self learning.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep learning. And a better way to learn is not just to read a book, but to actually take courses,
Mm-hmm.
to take professional certifications on it. The second is collaboration. Reach out to people even outside, especially outside the bank, who are experts in their field, who have skills of ways of doing things that we don't have. They
Mm-hmm.
provide value. So collaboration with external parties, um, it's actually a skill because many people are not able to do that. And the third, I think, it goes back to transformation skills.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, are you able to transform the business as a result of all this? You learn new things, you get new partners who give you new ideas, who can help you with doing things, but can you continue transforming your business? Um, there are good courses on digital transformation. I took three of them. I would suggest to the listeners to consider UC Berkeley has a really good course on digital transformation. That's one of those things that I suggest people follow. My transformation formula is uh, is based closely on the Berkeley model. Um, but beyond this, a lot of soft skills are necessary as well. But basically, those three, you have to be, you have to keep learning. Self learning is very important, and it's not you. It should be the whole organization. You have to be collaborative, but you have to be transformative. You have to be
True.
transformative.
I really love how you summarize this. It sounds so simple, right? Learning, self learning. I mean, like, it's important for us to be able to keep up, as you've mentioned earlier, in the top challenges that most leaders do face, right? It's really so much about changes that are happening, right? It's really so much around the continuous transformation changes that we uh, and even things that we don't expect that will actually happen, like the pandemic, right? And again, for us to be able to keep up with this, we need to be always learning. We need to collaborate, and I really glad that you actually mentioned about collaboration, because that's what my business model is as well. It's really so much about collaborating and leveraging on other strengths to be able to
Yes,
deliver the outcomes that my clients want for me. And again, transformation skills, which you can't get away from it. Right? It's if anything, right, that's the most that you have to actually learn, unlearn, and relearn, and to be able to transform. That's part of being a leader, right? To be able to transform not only yourself but also the others along the way, because as
yes,
you've mentioned, as a leader, you have to bring everyone, you have to bring people to succeed, right? You have to guide them as a leader. And so I really appreciate all these lessons. I mean, imagine in an hour you gave us, like, I have like a lot of notes going on here in this conversation. So I really appreciate all the lessons you gave us, very invaluable tips, and tools and techniques, not only about, because what we have made mention in our invitation is just about AI, about digital transformation, how can you make the business sustainable, but we get a lot more from this conversation. Like some of the, the challenges that they face is really retaining not only the people but also the business that they are in, right? So I really appreciate all these nuggets and inspiration that you have shared with us. And that leads me to my last question. As much as I would like to have this conversation with you probably the whole day, I know you're very busy as well. So I'm just curious to know. This is a very open question. So for this, in this case, it's gonna be the Miss Universe, Mr. Universe question. So if you have a magic wand and can use it, what will you do with it?
uh, hmm. My main advocacy, which I haven't mentioned yet, is really education. I'm a trustee in 3 schools.
Mm-hmm,
um, I always want young Filipinos to have access to the best education possible,
mm-hmm,
uh, either in De La Salle John Bosco College in Surigao, in University of San Carlos in Cebu, or at the Asian Institute of Management. Um, I would wish that every single young Filipino get the opportunity to acquire quality education. Right from the start, from kindergarten up to masters, or even just to university. To me, that will be extremely transformative. That is, if I have that magic wand. But since I don't have one,
mm-hmm.
I'm doing the best I can in all the 3 schools where I serve as a trustee. I'm a trustee in all the 3 schools I studied in.
Oh wow.
And I was on scholarships the whole time. This is my way of giving back. But no, it's not just giving back. It's investing in the future. That's the way
Exactly.
I see it.
Wow, I really love that. And I'm sure even without the magic wand, with the work that you do with the 3 schools that you are serving as well, I'm sure that's something that you have been doing. And who knows, right? In the future, we can actually collaborate and how we can bring this education to the next level. I mean, I had several conversations with other leaders from different countries as well. And it's always a dream for us to be able to bring that education. I mean, like, unfortunately there's still a flaw in how education is being delivered. Like, it's really purely academic, and not everyone is genius in exams or like academically, right? We have
Yeah,
our different geniuses that we can leverage on, right? So that's why I think that's where the education is flawed. And hopefully in the future, that's something that we can actually come up with together in in improving the education not only for Filipinos but young children from around the world, I would say, right?
Yeah, now one of my guys just sent me a note saying that he's watching, and he says I should write a book. Seriously.
True, true. There's like so much nuggets, so much lessons. I mean, you've gone through a lot of journey that has helped like a lot of people to succeed in the in their own ways, right? It's really
Then,
leveraging on your
Marilyn, uh,
yes.
I'm actually writing a small book. I'll send you a copy when it's done.
Oh,
It's
yay.
since I'm turning 60, I figured
Mhm,
I'll write
mhm,
all those things that are in
mhm.
my mind, and um, later on, if I start forgetting the things I learned, even forgetting who I am at some point in my life, I can read that book and remind myself.
Wow, that's gonna be great. And I look forward to having my hands on that book. So I look
Working
forward.
on it, it's being edited as we speak.
Ah, wow,
I
that's great.
already
That's
finished
gonna be
writing
soon.
it. It's being edited now.
Wow, exciting times. Thank you, Eugene, for that. And I look forward to receiving that book. And
Okay.
thank you again for those who have actually been joining us live today. Vicky, Rhea, Virginia, Jazil, Rina. Thank you for joining us live. As much as we would like to give more nuggets, I mean, that's the end of the session. I really appreciate all the inspiration, all the tips, all the nuggets, all the sharing of stories that you have given us today in the last 1 hour or so. So, thank you so much, Eugene. I know you're very busy, but you made time to have this conversation with me. So, I really appreciate you on that. And I'm really glad. I mean, I've made mention this is my last interview for 2023, and I really am glad that I actually really like ended it with a bang. By having you as the person, as the leader that I will interview. So thank you so much for that.
No,
Thank you
thank you,
for making it
Marilyn. Thank
possible.
you. You convinced me in Cebu. That's why I'm doing this. You were very convincing, and I'm
Thank
happy. I'm happy I did this, and I'm looking forward to having another chat with you in the future. Thank you to those
you.
who listened in and gave a few kind words. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you. Thank you, Marilyn. Really, really appreciate this.
It's my pleasure. And again, thank you so much, Eugene, for this. Very inspiring and a lot of nuggets as well that everyone should have took notes of. I have my own notes, by the way. So thank you so much for that. And again, thank you for watching us live or on a replay. Join us in this journey to create more opportunities through this several intervention to make this world a better place to live in because we can. And remember that even the richest investors in the world would say that investing in yourself is the best investment you can ever make in your life, and that's number one in the most important leadership capabilities and skills that Eugene also made mention. So with that, we would like to leave you with this quote that if your actions creates a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you're an excellent leader. Thank you for being our excellent leader today, Eugene. Have a good day, everyone, and stay safe. Enjoy the holidays. And bye for now. See you next year. Oh, we have some more insights here. And please convince more leaders to have interviews with you. Thank you, Ivy, for that. I will look forward to that as well. And yeah, it's an invitation for leaders to have these kind of conversations. We needed you. We need to hear your insights, your journey, your inspiration, and do connect with us if you need help in learning, leadership, and organizational development. Thank you so much, everyone, and bye for now.